heart and ask me how I feel thinking about you every night, just to be mine. Now that I got you, breaks me in the doubt, 'cause all I can do is say I love you. Don't ask me why. When you walk us by, baby, you know I try to stay still, but I just can't help it. These goosebumps, so I'm silently screaming as you go approaching me and holding me tight while we were stargazing, just laughing all night, forgetting about our past in this city of ours. I just wanna hold you tight, hold you tight, hold you tight, hold you tight, screaming so lungs out, singing along to our favorite songs in our world. Don't ask me why. When you walk us by, baby, you know I try to stay still, but I just can't help it. This goosebumps, I'm silently screaming, go approaching me and holding me tight while we were stargazing and just laughing all night, forgetting about our past in this city of ours. I just wanna hold you tight, hold you tight, hold you tight, hold you tight. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Chia, for this amazing performance. And hello, it's Women's Day 2023, and we're still talking about women's problem at workplace. But today we're going to talk about more what is there as a progress and why things are changing drastically. So thank you for Core Asia for hosting us in their Binance live spot. We are S21. My name is Melissa Kurtcan, and I'm going to host these amazingly brilliant ladies. And it's going to be a difficult session because we are actually generally having so much fun together also. You must have realized from Idomok's amazing entry to the room, it's going to be loud, it's going to be full of laughter. So we're going to celebrate it all together. Why are we doing this? Is at first, almost 100 years ago, when 15,000 women marched in New York, they demanded shorter work hours, better pay roles equal to men, and voting rights. And traditionally, 8th of March is celebrated as the Workers' Women's Day. And it is intrinsically related to the equity in the workplace, reduced access gap, and fairly distributed democratic rights. And we are a group of entrepreneurs, community leaders who think blockchain might be the answer. And the last 15 years, we have been observing a transformation of our business practices with the Web3 movement. And we think we have an infrastructure maybe to implement these concepts now in practice as well. So we're going to be with Ida Mok, Leah Sadia, Nicole Nguyen, Cheska Gonzalez, and we are going to discuss basically the collaboration and leadership and how these are changing. So we have co-founders, C-levels, thought leaders, community leaders, public speakers, president titles. But I would like to start with my personal hero, who holds my favorite title, the jazz musician Ida Mok. Ida recently conducted a survey in Southeast Asia to understand women's feelings about their work and public places. So could you summarize your results a little bit for us, Ida? How is it different than the rest of the world? What's specific for Southeast Asia, and what's still a problem? What can be considered as a progress? You're mute. Okay. Okay, Ida is having a technical issue. Maybe we can have a quick round of comments of like what specifically in Southeast Asia, what's your experience working with so many women? Maybe we can start with Nicole.
Hi, Mel. Hi, Melissa. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me today. Yeah, it's. I think it has been a long time since we have a call like this with the ladies, especially to celebrate the International Women's Day. I think in Vietnam we do celebrate this day very often, but I think very, very rare that we have these occasions to sit down with Web3 ladies. And I think, very fortunate to work with a lot of the ladies in the space. The founders and the builders from Vietnam and Southeast Asia. So I'm the co-founder of APAC DAO. So we run a APAC-focused Web3 community for founders and builders from Southeast Asia. And to be honest, I think when we speak with a lot of the ladies, I think in the space, I can see that definitely, when they get to meet the right partner or the right person or the right mentor, we can see that a lot of them can actually like fully get exposed and just show what they have, what they've got, and they're like totally very confident when we can set up like a very kind of safe place for them to share the ideas that they have. So a lot of these ladies, I think pretty much a lot of them, of course, like joined this blockchain space without knowing a lot about the technology, and a lot of them, of course, are scared that they do not have technical background, and possibly they're concerned about a lot of these barriers for them to enter the space. But, after, let's say, I think with the right kind of mentors and with some of the sessions, let's say when we talk, when we meet at the events, and when we have some of these kind of closed networking sessions where we can get to speak with the other ladies in the Web3 space, I can feel that, of course, they have a lot more confidence. They are more keen to explore how they can contribute to this space other than being another men, like doing what the man is doing in the space. And I think that's very important, of course, to pretty much stress this. I think I really like the discussion of Melissa about the event. We appreciate the difference in this community. And obviously we have so much more attributes as a woman when we work in the Web3 space. And I think for us, we don't have any kind of specific, let's say, women like section or women kind of community in our group just yet, but I can see here a lot of the ladies here running that kind of group. So hopefully we can also do some of these kind of closed kind of circle, or kind of starting as a closed circle, but hopefully people can get in. And as long as people feel, or the women feel that they're safe and we are empowered, we are motivated by other ladies, I think we can definitely have more Web3 builders, female Web3 builders in the blockchain space.
Yes, 100%. This is thank you so much, Nicole, for your contribution. We see these interesting hierarchy. Oh, wait. Is Idamok okay to talk now?
Testing. Can you hear me?
Perfect. cockpit. Totally with us now. So, Idamok, amazing to see you here. So we were talking about, when you were not here, about the hierarchical structures eroding, and as a result, like different leadership types and the way emerging and different collaboration types emerging. And actually, both women and men benefit from this structural transformation. We all work with women and men, and our communities are all inclusive. How do you see the Southeast Asia survey specifically about women's feeling about their work habits and working with men and their during their lives?
So a little bit of context. WIBA, in collaboration with a few other women organizations, we produced a survey which is directed specifically onto Southeast Asian women who are involved in the Web3 space, curious about Web3 space, and the survey breaks it down to founders, those who are already working in Web3 and all that. We're still collecting results, but we have a pretty good snapshot at the moment now. What I raised to Mel was that, which was an eye-opener to me, was that more than 50% of the women who put in their survey in Southeast Asia said that there is no discrimination whatsoever that they face in this industry, whether it's Web3 or blockchain. But at the same breath, they want better childcare facilities. They want better working conditions. They want job share. It's one of them. They're asking for a job share. Okay, they want to have less hours. Less demand in terms of traveling, networking, which is which comes quite a lot in blockchain. In this blockchain space. So it was an interesting revelation, because here you have a blank question. Do you see any discrimination whatsoever? More than 50% says no. But then when you drill it down into this, they'll say, yeah, I want this, I want this. It's quite interesting that to find that the Southeast Asian women feels that these areas like childcare, working conditions is not discriminatory, So what is discriminatory in that sense? So that is the thing that we are actually trying to figure it out. And you asked earlier before, while I had some audio issue, was that what is the difference in Europe and other countries? Is that as you know, Europe has a lot of this survey. And in those surveys, generally, the feedback was, yes, the discrimination still occurs. Precisely on this point, because there are less childcare, there are less working arrangements, and because if you cannot commit to the working arrangements, commit to the hours because you have children at home, your promotion abilities is then impacted, your career progression is there impacted. So they see it as that as one whole thing. Whereas over here, it's almost like it's been isolated out. So then back to your question, Melissa, if you take that survey and you put it in the context of hierarchy, this is just my personal opinion. So please, don't shoot me down, okay? This is just my personal opinion. I think that the women workforce in Southeast Asia has been conditioned. The nuances and the condition is so embedded and is so entrenched that quite a lot of them are not actually aware of it, that thinking that it's actually permissible and it's acceptable. So, and one of those conditions, I think, in my opinion, is the hierarchy. And that it is okay in that kind of hierarchy, almost to the point that it's acceptable. Because it's acceptable, it is not a discriminatory or it's not an issue. So what do I take out from this? There's a lot of work to do, ladies. So much to do. With that stats, with that knowledge, we all have to go back and basically change our way in addressing the issue, and to actually start increasing women leaders into that, to actually show them that hey, this is not right. It could be better.
Something needs to change, right?
Yeah.
But I want to go back to Cheska now, because she's an outstanding personality in all this. Like, she's on the TV, she is a pilot, she's the founder of Women of Substance NFTs. How do you see this established not discriminatory, I mean, the idea that this is not discrimination, and like Ida's comments in interpretation of the results, that there's no discrimination for women at workplace and private lives, Cheska?
I think, hi everyone. Anyway, so I think even in my other professions that I enter into, there is discrimination, and it's just that I accept that we just accept what's happening, right? But the problem is a lot of women think of it as an acceptable, it's just acceptable that they're discriminated, that they do not know that they're actually discriminated already. And I think that it's how we as the leaders see it and portray to be the image that that women can really do it. And I think that's the important role that we are holding on to, that people, that women can see that we are here in this space. Or other, for example, in the aviation industry, I'm already in the aviation industry. Even if this is a man's world, even this is a man's world, the blockchain space is a man's world, the tech space is a man's world. I feel like it's our obligation as leaders to become the image that people can see, So basically, I think it's how we shut off the noise outside. It's how we shut off the noise that, and to stand up to what is right and to what we think we really deserve. So I think we need more leaders like us, so that that women or girls can see that it's not all right to be discriminated, and it's not all right to be treated in a very bad way. And I have a fair share and a lot of stories to tell about this in this industry and outside. But yeah, so we really need to stand up for ourselves.
Thank you so much. Leah has a lot of experience both in Web2 and now in Web3 space. So, and as a person also leading the movement in Girls in Tech, what is your experience, Leah? Like, how do you compare the specifically Indonesian and Southeast Asian structural situation and women in tech and generally Web2 to Web3 to compare? Like, how do you see, is there any progress, or what's the reason that we don't perceive the discrimination at first?
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to have one more hour to talk on this, right? Like 2 hours in total. So yeah, I just realized just now while here listening to Ida, basically. So I think since I was a child, there's an unconscious bias, right? Like from the beginning, my parents would told me that the best profession for you is to be a teacher, basically, because teachers in Indonesia work half day. So you can go back and then go back to your kids, right? So I didn't know that from the beginning. I was like, oh yeah, that's really like a bias, right? And I think I need to point out the culture, right? Like in Indonesia, it is encouraged for women to go back early, right? So they don't pursue education over 4 p.m., for example, right? So anything later than 4 p.m., it's like, yeah, they don't pursue it because it's not good for them as a women, right? And then culture-wise, it's also like there's a lot of nuance around humility. Like, so they don't speak up. They don't speak up, right? So whenever some discrimination happen, they probably just brush it off. They're like, oh, maybe that they doesn't mean it, or like they laugh together with the discriminator, for example, right? So it's like a really like generation over generation problem. I am even really to this day still learning something new about my own culture, right? So yeah, so with Girls in Tech Indonesia, what we're trying to do is we try to inspire the geek in every girl, and we have a campaign that we call Why Not, where we say to women in Indonesia, hey, you can pursue any career in tech, Web 2, Web 3, why not, right? That's the idea. And then if you need to bring your child to the course place, why not? If you want to bring your husband to take care of the child, why not? So those are the things that we want to break, right? The barriers that women make for themselves, and kind of show them it's possible. And with all right now we just launched a scholarship for women to learn full stack development, right? Coding. And yeah, hopefully we will create more role models basically from this program. Yeah. I mean, we still need more women in coding in Web 2 and Web 3 equally.
I think it's still important to highlight the fact that there's no discrimination against husbands, boyfriends, or whoever, right? So maybe just to say it out loud. And yes, I mean, it's eventually when we are talking about education and leading, helping out the next generation Web3 professionals, we always, every day, I bet each of you also think we are reinventing our ways to deal with each other, the community, ourselves, and the team, and everything. Nicole, how do you see the leadership, basically? How do you see the notion of leadership changing in this Web3 community with the remote work and everything? Like, is it still the same way to you? Like, what is it to lead?
I think it's a very interesting about the concept of leadership, right? And I think especially with Web3, since I think we are all here as community builders, so I think a lot of the leadership that we have here, has to do a lot with the community. And I think that the role, especially I think for the like a leader in the Web3 project right now, it's not going to be about kind of course, like, putting down, like enforcing these top-down decisions, but it has to do a lot with opening up the space, getting the community motivated, and of course, like, even like initiating or incentivizing or motivating them to take the lead. I think that's definitely very important. And I think it's has to do more with the notion of empowerment. And this is definitely very relevant to female leaders, because I think we naturally have that kind of, like that kind of nature in us, that we also want to be more inclusive, also want to have motivate more people, other people in our circles. So I think the notion has definitely changed with remote work right now. Of course, with this kind of flat hierarchy and remote working environment, very mobile working environment, I think everywhere it has to deal a lot with how you will be able to keep up and motivate your team and kind of empower them to be another leader. So this kind of context, I think, is definitely also moving in a very positive way with the female kind of leaders in the space.
Yes, they actually, women or men, nobody needs to exert that power, dominate, and keep always that strong image and every sort of aspect of being a strong leader anymore, right? Like you maybe a little bit more like charisma that comes with nurturing and like encouraging your co-working. So I think leadership and collaboration is they are really going hand to hand. What's your take in leadership on the leadership side as the president of Women in Blockchain Asia and working with like different DeFi and blockchain projects, IDAMOC?
Interesting. Leadership, I agree with what Nicole said. Even for myself, it's every day I learn something new. Jessica and I know each other. No, Mel, we all know each other like almost a year ago. And my view, especially Jessica, in terms of leadership, is so much different with what my view I currently hold now in terms of leadership, because I have been humbled. I have been shown that how wrong I was with this space. One of the biggest things that I personally have to handle and I have to acknowledge was that exactly for the same thing that Nicole said, it's not a top-down approach. It is about the community. So myself being a person from a lot of in the traditional background where it's very much top-down, I led WeBa pretty much like top-down too. And to learn that, that's one of the reasons in this space, it can't work like that. That leadership in Web3 is about opening up the stage. It's about sharing the limelight, sometimes giving the limelight. And most of the time, you're actually giving the limelight. It's about allowing ownership. It's about giving responsibility and letting go. And it's not about pulling up something that is to its perfection because that you don't have room to fail. It's about growing together with your team. And that's the thing, is the leadership of that is the skills that is crucially needed in any organizations in the Web3 space. So, for example, in WeBa, today we've launched the Web3 for non-tech Slack, the Stack one. And this whole idea came from the community. So we gave it to the community. You wanted it, you own it, you run it, you design it, you put the content. WeBa just comes to support. That's it. You tell us what to do, we just do. It's this complete reversal. It's a complete reversal. You're the president, I'm just president by name. That's it. Okay. And they did it. They the group community, they just pull it all together and they take ownership. And that is what it is. And that I think that is something that is truly amazing. And that is why it's so empowering, because you actually nurture and actually groom and birth more future leaders who find their own niche, their own skills, and their own passion out from this. And I think that is what we are supposed to do, just to help them to discover what they're good in and what they want to be passionate about.
Thank you so much, Ida. So it's almost like taking all the responsibility, stress and load and everything. Like leadership is evolving into taking all the negatives on your back, like distributing all the ownership and the juice to the community, right? Like it's getting tough, and like every day it's getting more difficult. Obviously, it provides a lot of possibilities to people. Like we are not also running this communities following a corporate structure, but we are reinventing ways and failing at it every day. And how do you, Jessica, see that image of leadership and like generally media and like our daily lives, like the image of leadership, like with social media, with everybody's being like on their cameras and everything, like the image of leadership and ourselves, like how does it matter for any women being a public figure? What's the relevance of it? Like today, us putting ourselves at the forefront of our businesses, communities, how does it evolve?
Sometimes being a leader is accidental. Just what happened to me. So I think in the cockpit, I already am a leader in terms of being the pilot in command, right? But when it comes to business, it's literally completely different, especially in this space. And I personally want to thank you, Aida, because she is the reason why I am in this space, actually. Why I started with Women in Blockchain Asia. And it really opened up a lot of things for me, not just in terms of connections, but also in terms of giving opportunities to other people as well. When, sometimes it just takes one person to just believe in you. And when this person believes in you, and that is the importance of community, and I think that's the importance of leadership, because if a person or a company or something believes in you, then you will excel in what you do. And I think that is the driving force for me to start all that I do right now, in terms of, for example, the Philippine Blockchain Week, which actually was for me a success, not in terms of because of the people who came or the CEOs were there, but because of the success stories that I heard after. I think that is leadership, because when they told me after that they already have a job, they already got this, they're already in the Web3 space because of that event alone, or because of me, I think, that instantly is becoming a leader. You don't need a title. Of course, sometimes, like I do have a title in terms of, I'm part also of the Blockchain Council of the Philippines. And that is actually a part of the reason why I am motivated. Because it's not about the title, but it's because of the opportunities that this gave to me, and not just to me, but to other people as well. And I think I will continue on doing this because, even with the public or the private eye, I would continue to do this because of the lives that I am changing. And I think that is leadership. It's not because of, the face, the feet, that you're in all guestings and all TV, etc. It's not about that. It's more of when you do everything with passion, you just instantly become a leader. And it's inevitable that, you're gonna just continue doing it because you're inspiring others. And yeah, I think for me that is leadership. You don't need titles, you don't need to have a background of some sort. I'm not even in the tech industry. I'm not in this space. We're all new in this space, and there is no OGs. There is no person. It just happened that one person started this ahead of you, and that's it. And I think if I just continue to inspire, and the leaders continue to inspire on people, then a lot of people will be in the space, and a lot of people would be a leader on their own and build their communities as well. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Jessica. This is a very good point. The how long you've been in crypto space, right? Like we know that. But on the other side, there is also the like a corporate effectivity for some times, like the corporate archiving and like different roles. And a structure, which sometimes we are super lost trying to delegate even. This is a very big problem for us trying to like reinvent everything. So Leo, you have different C-levels experience also. How do you see like different like the corporates, like what's good in it, and it's like how everything is evolving, and maybe is there anything we can look there and implement into our leadership practices? And also I would like to give you the priority to answer the question about slowly thinking collaboration ways, right? Like in-team collaboration, binding it with collaboration, because in a corporate structure, everything is like super rigid. Like, so how to delegate, how to give the brief and everything. What is the downside, and like what's our power in terms of leading a team, and how our own collaborative ways are emerging and changing?
Yeah, first of all, Jessica, Melissa is the OG, basically.
I'm not asking anyone, like,
yeah, it's a difficult question, Melissa. So, yeah, for me, leadership starts from yourself, right? How you lead yourself, and then what is your vision? Like I just recently have like feedbacks from the team and everything, and when I hear like my team said, oh yeah, you're a good leader, and I asked them like, what is a good leader? Because I don't know. And then they said that with you, I'm very clear of where we are going. So that's, I think, yeah, because a leader really, okay, I have a vision, this is where I'm going, and then they communicate it well. So not only to the team members, but also to the community, right? When I think about it, I've been naturally a community builder. I built like community of readers and writers, a women in technology, right? Startup community in Jakarta. Like, I don't know how I can do that, right? But it's just naturally the passion of wanting to change something and then wanting to go somewhere. And then when you kind of find the like-minded people, you build the community. And leadership also, after you know where you want to go, it's also start from the hiring process, right? The team, recruiting the team, finding out if they're, going to the same direction, or they have similar culture with you, like, that's important, right? Do they have the same values as you? And then, of course, being aware of the diversity factor, inclusivity factor from the beginning, right? The way we hire, and then we start to kind of put the practice of the ideal that we want to build. Like, for example, we want more collaboration in the team. Okay, then what kind of the tools that we use, right? Like, put it into practice daily, make it aware. I think a culture like I have really a structure to build the culture. So culture for me is not only a slogan or something that we put on the wall, but something that we put really on our day-to-day SOP. What kind of tools that we use, what kind of technique and framework that we use to work. Like, for example, in my team, we are using holacracy instead of, like the normal hierarchy, right? That allows people to have a sense of ownership of their tasks, and also, work together in between circles, right? The holacracy circles. And being responsible with what they're doing. And I'm constantly having a check-in as well with my team to really ask what do they need, right? And then how's the collaboration going between the team, between the circles, and is there anything that I can help, right? So constantly having that kind of communication, and of course me as a leader to be a role model, to not trying to do everything myself. If you're trying to do everything yourself, you're not collaborating. Right? So me as I show it to my team that I'm collaborating. I'm not trying to do everything myself, and that's also what they're trying to do. And then we nurture that with communication, and a very, very, like different type of communication, one-on-one or a group, small groups. Yeah, I think that's what I've been doing now.
Amazing insights, Leah. You have a lot of experience, and also you're very good at pinpointing these skills. It's really interesting. Maybe we can have a quick round to then later to what makes you a good leader in definitely not delegating.
Oh, I over delegate. I delegate everything.
Definitely. So Nicole, you also really want to focus on because we are specifically responsible on building a safer, more nurturing environment where everybody's all the employees or the members of the community thrive, basically. How can we grow a safe and nurturing circle for underrepresented groups so they can unleash their potential, and specifically for today, the women in workspace and private life? And what opportunities we have in the Web3 space?
I think some of the ladies here, I think Ida might have mentioned about that. So I think definitely, I think we pretty much align on the idea of community, kind of course, like creating this nurturing space, but of course, like challenging enough this space. I would have to stress that it must be challenging as well at the same time, right? For the ladies, of course, to kind of create their own circle and definitely, have to be out there as a kind of venture as an entrepreneur. So I think for APEC now, for instance, I think, of course, like with the circle. So I think definitely we need to have maybe a more close circle in the beginning. We need to kind of get let's say, for example, like some of the female leaders or those with potential leadership, just to share information, create this kind of vibe that people can like share all of these like role models and stories. Definitely from some of the thought leaders like you are here. In the group to motivate the ladies. And I think when it comes to the next step, where we would give them some of the resources and also the space for them to be more innovative in coming up with their own initiatives. So I think with Web3, definitely this is one of the more exciting space, I think, for female entrepreneurs to be able to create their own kind of, I think, story or their own kind of business. I can see that definitely we are talking a lot about creators economy, a lot about empowering the underrepresented groups, and definitely female kind of entrepreneurs are one of them. So with all of the technical innovations like NFTs, of course, like, with the community empowerment, community tools, it's so much easier, and of course, like less resource intensive to come up with something on your own. So I think this is definitely needs to. I would definitely want to stress this out when I speak with some of the ladies out there, that Web3 space is not as scary or far-fetched as it looks, but definitely, I mean, it's very visual. With communities, with the people here, with the people that you can learn, and people are definitely more accommodating when you want to learn new thing or when you want to start something new. So I think those kind of messages. Which I would stress, those kind of messages more and more whenever I have the time to meet some of those ladies.
Amazing. This is actually highlighting a little bit also the Cheska's point, because meritocracy, which is very inherent in both corporate system and everything top down, like first you need to go through all those stairs, like you climb all those stairs to be able to have your own business, build your company, and like also you need to be coming from a generational lineage where they have the habit, and you inherit that habit of managing larger sums of capital, basically. So I'm going to ask the tough question to Ida Mok, as she always complains. So, so the do we have any in Web3 space? Obviously, ways to manage like different on-chain escrow structures. How this is actually empowering us as underrepresented groups who don't have these habits of managing fundraising or managing like higher amount of capitals. because it can be really intimidating. What tools we have, and like what practical examples you had from your experience to maybe like to attack that myth of like running a company and building a business is very hard and very difficult for the women and other underrepresented groups.
Okay, Melissa, the question must be really hard because while you're explaining the questions, the connection went choppy. And I kind of lost.
I know you were also on the other Twitter space at the in the same time. So
I'm out of it now. I'm out of it. But in a snapshot, what are you asking? just
She's
bullet points.
On the other Twitter space as well. So the question is like how what tools we have now that makes our life easier to manage big sums of funds, to manage these capitals, because it can be intimidating for in the previous paradigm for women or other underrepresented group who doesn't have this habit of managing these funds, doing fundraising and everything. If you think about most of the products and the management can cost millions of dollars. So.
Okay. How many minutes do I have?
You have exactly 37 seconds.
There's no way I can answer that in 37
Okay, go.
seconds.
3 minutes. We're going to do item of special edition.
Oh, okay, yeah. Tools, all right, tools, fundraising tools. I'm not gonna lie, it is actually extremely difficult for a woman to raise funds. The very fact a woman turns up on the podium, on the pitch podium, you could literally see the number of faces, shut down faces in the investors. You haven't even started pitching yet, okay? You could see more than 2/3 are shut down already. So there is no special tool to open up their eyes and get their attention, and that is truth. So my advice is that, if, for example, in pitch, focus on the ones that is paying attention to you, at least giving you that 10 minutes and wants to listen to you. The power that we have is the narrative. We are very good in telling a story. And that is the power which is us as women. Many people pitch a product very cold-heartedly. This is what they do, this is the problem, this is how we solve it, this is the product, yada, 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 yada. That's how it works. We as women are very engaged and connected with humanity. Put the human connection in our pitch and you will capture the people, you will touch people. Use all the skills that is inherently unique to us as women and put it out there, okay? We, for example, I said we can tell it as a story. We are connected to people. We touch emotions. Yeah, women are emotional. We touch emotion. If the product can make you feel good, I think, Leah, you can understand it, and Nicole as well. If a product makes you feel good, half the battle is won. The pitch, half the battle is won. And that is what we. In terms of investment, my advice is that start small. There are tools out there that has made it easier. They take the jargon out of it. I know I'm shilling my one, but yes, Spool is one of them. It makes it easy. 4 sliders and a click submit, and there you get it. You touch DeFi products already, and you can forget about it. But it doesn't detract from the fact that you have to be careful and you have to start small. Don't put your whole life savings on it. Put only what you think you can afford to lose. So if you lose it because of the volatile market, it doesn't hurt so much. but you learn the mechanics of it. Unfortunately, this area is still highly complex, requiring us to move from one platform to another platform to find the best deal out of it to maximize efficiency. So this is something that builders are continuously building, continuously finding ways to make it easier. But as I speak now, there is no one special tool that basically just wrap it all up and just say that's the one. Where it is still very much a trial and error. So those basic basic risk that you have to adopt is still there. So I know I'm rushing it because I'm conscious I've only got 3 minutes. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna run out of the Google Meet link also. So maybe just to say a few things about. Yeah, I mean, it is very intimidating to like fundraise, even if with tokens, like bank accounts. Like I can't even imagine having to go through this process with the banks and like then sending the money. Like you don't see the money for like 50 days in your accounts, and also there's this management thing, like, and all these concepts are changing also, right? Like, so when we're now we don't call it that much of a employee, but like colleague, collaborator, and so the whole business itself and the business market distinction itself is changing. It's everything is turning like holistic structure, where there's not much of a clear distinction, because the token holders are your investors, they're your the best marketers, they're your audience, the users. Everything is like turning into like very fluid actually concepts. Let me check before I go another 10 minutes with the okay, I think we go, right? So just be mindful, if it cuts, I'm gonna send the new link. So what's your take about these roles? Like, everybody's now with these new technologies, we are our own bosses, we are our own employees. How does that make your life easier or harder?
Easier, a lot of things, but harder in a sense because I wasn't prepared to start a company, and it so happened that I have a company. I think, this. Oh, we're ending in a while, but just so you have the gist of, I got a lot of opportunities being in this space. And I think remote work, yes, is a lot of help for a lot of women, and not just women in general, human as a whole. So we have this opportunity of, working remotely, and it gives us the ability to be flexible, our schedule to be flexible, and that is one. And on the hard part is proving yourself to other people, especially when you are a woman, and especially when you're new in the space. So I guess, yeah. So I guess this things. I'm so scared of the timer. that I
I
cannot.
know, right? I know, right? I felt that too. I was like trying to summarize it in my head.
Yeah, but technically it's a lot of work in terms of the space, because when you want to welcome, whenever there is a new technology, or whenever there is a new something, people are really afraid to be there. And I guess when you're afraid to be in one space, you need role models. And so the con of being in a new space is you're gonna be starting to learn things and educate yourself. You're gonna have to enroll in a lot of classes, or you have to find a new community. You're gonna have to find new set of, I don't know, friends who have the same interests as you. And it's not easy to have to find a community, and that is why I think uh, the call is about to end. But I think yeah, you just have to wait.
Hello, we're back.
Missing, I hope.
I felt like I was in a Miss Universe competition with a timer on.
And she gave me the hard question, and I was like, oh, how do I squeeze this in?
Yeah. Uh, are we live or?
I don't know. Mel, are you back? Mel, Melissa,
Anything?
hello.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. So I'll be replacing Melissa for a while. Happy International Women's Day. Yeah, I know. But seriously, yeah, I don't know if we're live, but if we're
Yeah,
live,
We are,
we are,
we
we
are
are, we are.
live.
oh, we are live. Okay, so just to continue on the pros and cons of being in this industry. Yeah, it's hard to find the community, especially when you don't know what you want to do, because there's a lot of things like it can be in crypto, it can be in NFTs, you can be in a developer. So it's really hard to find the community. I think just going to conferences alone will help you a lot in terms of knowing who to talk to, knowing who to find, knowing what to start, or who your role models can be. So yeah. Melissa, I just continued the answer to your question because I know we're live and I love you. You're on mute.
I will watch the recording to understand what you said. I bet it was amazing. I kind of turned all my camera system and everything down, but yeah, thank you for that brilliant comments, Jessica. So what we're I think like we have like just 5 more minutes to basically say what are we hopeful about like going forward. We can start with Leah. What are we hopeful about, like how the year, what is there yet as an unleashed potential, and because there I mean this is a very interesting group, like we have representatives from Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Turkey. So it's I think a lot of things going to be like way more nicer in the next bear market, the next bull market. So hopefully everything is going to take a different shape, and our business practice is also going to shape. What are we generally hopeful about?
Um, for me, I'm hopeful for a serious commitment from everyone, but mostly like for policymakers or also for big corporates or sponsors, investors, whoever, to kind of put their efforts and fun into women, right, and then into creating a space that where women can really experiment, tinkering, learning about the new technology like Web3 or AI, and to be together with their peers, have support and mentors, and then it's like having a serious commitment in building that and not just one-off thing, like one seminar and one workshop and that's it, like, but this is like more long-term and continuous effort. So that's what I'm really hope for. And I really know that this kind of big effort will be there with collaboration also, right? So it's collaboration between communities and government. So and everyone, not only in Bali, not only in Indonesia, but also Southeast Asia, as we are right now. So yeah, I'm very hopeful for that serious commitment.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Nicole, what are you hopeful for the next chapter of Web3?
Well, I just hope that it's gonna get warmer, and maybe definitely people would have to plan their runway long enough for the next winter. I don't think we have learned our lessons the past cycles, so now it's coming back more painful than ever. So yeah, runway planning, number one, kind of let's say criteria for good funders.
There's so many different, like even basic multi-signature wallet idea and the technology. Like we had a very good example recently after the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. With a multi-signature wallet, like in 48 hours, $4 million were collected from all around the world, and it's all transparent and super quick. You don't need to wait for ages for the SWIFT to go through. And this is like basically nobody can just like run with the funds. And so there's so much potential to actually change the structural things and use the funds, the time, our resources way more effectively and be more quick to tackle humanity's problem, because one of the Bitcoin writers, it's a very good quote, institutions who are supposed to solve the humanity's problem are impotent and use this to solve these problems because of their super slow, the processes, the corporate, like all these signatures and everything. So I think like there's going to be a new emerging way to tackle all these different aspects of our collective problems. What are you hopeful, Ida Moak, this chapter?
What I'm hopeful, specifically for the women in this space, I'm hopeful that you'll find.
Yeah, that just happens to be hard. But if you're hopeful for something else, then we can definitely listen to you on this as well. Sorry? Is it my internet? So, yeah, I mean, on that specific subject, underrepresented groups and their representation on Web3. But if you have any other hopes, we can also listen to that as well.
Okay, all right. For the women, I hope, I pray, and I want the women in the Web3 to find your own voice, to be comfortable in your own skin. You don't need to come with a particular look, long hair, slim, tall, that kind of thing. No, be comfortable in your own skin. Be reckoned for your own skill and talent. Be recognized for that. And just that being a woman suddenly becomes a secondary nature. It's more of a byliner than rather that because you're a woman, you're reckoned with. With this industry in DeFi, I would like to see, I'm hopeful because of regulations. I know when I bring this up, a lot of people will be raising their eyebrows, okay? With certain activities and certain things that is happening, which I felt it was overreach. But generally what is happening, I feel it's good because it's actually bringing more responsibility into a market, into an activity which I felt has gone completely chaotic. Everything that Nicole said just now about runway and things like that stems from this chaos and stems from irresponsibility, stems from greed, stems from founders who just have no knowledge and doesn't care about doing things correctly, being responsible to staff, actually producing the product, not just taking the money and go for conferences. Building the product, launching the product, scaling the product. This market is actually good. And I'm hoping and I'm hopeful that what is happening now is actually going to wash out the noise, wash out all this, and what is left behind are those that actually, not just in terms of the product, but the people behind it are the ones that are responsible, who actually believes in this space and want to see it work. So yeah, I'm hopeful, very hopeful.
Thank you so much, Ida Mogli. When Ida was visiting us in Bali, the last Crypto Week Bali in 2022, she said, I heard something about something like blockchain with integrity, but I've never seen it. So thanks, guys, for having it here. I think it's going to be the next stage, right? It's like blockchain, crypto, and because I mean, all this trading related activities, meme coins, that and this, pumping out so much value out of the space, and blockchain as a technology coming with principles, ideologies such as transparency, integrity, just very important ideologies. And a use case of blockchain as an infrastructure, it is all overshadowed with these trading activities, basically. What are you hopeful about for the next phase, Cheska?
I'm really hopeful that the space would actually really embrace collaboration. I feel like still it's in the early phases of division, because anything new is hard. So I really hope that you cannot be successful in this space without collaboration, and I hope that there's more collaboration, and women should uplift each other, should uplift other women. I hope that anybody who wants to be in this space can find their community, their role model. And if you want to start in this space, education is really important, and to know your strengths, because anybody can be in this space regardless of your profession, and you don't have to be a techie to be here, just like me. And don't be afraid to try this space. Also, I'm very hopeful, because if I'm not hopeful, I wouldn't have another Philippine Blockchain Week. So technically, I'm still hopeful in this space. We are currently working with the government as well. Even our elections are actually now in talks with using the blockchain technology, and I really feel that this is really the future. It's not just a cliche saying, but I really am sure that this is the future, and I hope that people can realize this as early as now, because once you're an early adapter, you will be very successful in this space. And also, so a little plug, Melissa. So Philippine Blockchain Week is happening on September 18 to 22 this year, and I really hope that people can see the potential of the Philippines and the Southeast Asia in general. But I really hope they can see the potential in the Philippines, especially with their projects. And I also have a Web3 podcast, edutainment podcast, that's coming this month. And that's how hopeful I am to be in this space. And I am not back in flying yet, just because I am really hopeful. So I think you can see how hopeful I am, not going back to my original. Yeah.
Amazing. I think what I am hopeful for, like this blockchain, a little bit more attention to blockchain as an infrastructure on the side, but the evolution of blockchain with the Southeast Asia community culture and merging it instead of like Western individualistic culture. I think self-sovereignty, when it's brought together with the community culture of Middle East, African, and Southeast Asian Asian cultures, I think it's going to reach to its absolute potential. That's why I'm very hopeful about it. And thank you so much for taking the lead of this movement, being part of it, being part of my life as well. You're all brilliant, amazing, and look beautiful. Happy Women's Day to all of you. I hope you have an amazing day and amazing next phase. Thank you so much, and looking forward to seeing all of your success and contributing to your successes, girls.
Thank you for having me.
Mel.
Thanks for having us. Happy
Thank you.
International Women's
Love
Day.
you.
Happy
Happy
Mother's Day.
Mother.
Love
Good
you.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
There ain't no alcohol in this river that I've been washing my hands in forever. I know there is hope in these waters, but I can't bring myself to swim when I am drowning in this island, baby. Let me go easy on me, baby. I was still a child, didn't get a chance to feel the world around me. I had no time to choose what I chose to do. So go easy on me. Hey. There ain't no room for things to change when we are both so deeply stuck in our ways. You can't deny how I've tried. I changed who I was to put you both first, but now I give up. Go easy on me, baby. I was still a child, didn't get a chance to feel the world around me. I had no time to choose what I chose to do. So go easy on me. I had good intentions and the high hopes, but now it's probably doesn't even show. Go easy on me, baby. I'm still a child, didn't get a change to feel the world around me. I had no time to choose what I chose to do. So go easy on me. Hey. Thank you, everyone.